You ready? Yeah, yeah. So I took some pre-workout drink. I'm buzzing now, but it's good to have you on, and it's nice to see you again.
Listen, I'd rather you buzz on a pre-workout than anything else.
Yeah, that is true, man. That is true.
We spent all of our Giovanni buzzing on other stuff.
Yeah, too much. And I still remember the first day I met you. You gave me a stall, didn't you, in Kingston University?
That's right, because you were standing, sorry, and everyone was supposed to be listening, right? And I was like, well, hold on, this is not how a kalakar should be. A kalakar needs to have higher above everyone else. So and then I said, here's a stool. On stage there. Stage one.
That was the first word you ever spoke to me, was it? Right.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. That's right. Swadini, otherwise you get lost in the crowd.
I know. I remember that day well. And look, you know what? Before you come on, I actually went through your Facebook because I was looking for some pictures for the promos for this show, right? Because I kind of work in advance, and I was going through them. And you've been to some great events. You're a host. You do immigration guru stuff, and you got motivational quotes. And there's so much stuff that you do that you write yourself. By the way, you don't nick them, but you write a lot of quotes and musings about life. But you know what? I came across this picture of you in hospital though, and it kind of it just shocked me because I saw the scar on you, and obviously I knew you was in hospital, but it really impacted me. I thought, wow, man, look, this guy's been on such an amazing journey and struggle.
That's a journey. Yeah.
That is such a shock because the scar is not some minor scar. I've got a scar on the top of my eye, right, and through Bhangra, right, when I was a kid, but this scar it's life-changing scar, right? This is
that they jeer you open like a Bhangra, and there's no exaggeration. I've got a massive scar still here, right on my chest, all the way down. It's about as big as my hand, long as my hand.
Yeah.
So, and they literally slice you open like a Bhangra. If you've been to a butcher's and you've seen how the Bhangra has been sliced open and it just hangs there, that's how I felt. And I only went in with acid. All I thought I had acid. And then the next minute, you're being told, look, mate, you ain't going nowhere. You're having a heart attack. And I was like, what? Me? And I said, when I should have had one, I didn't have one. And now I've sorted myself out and I've lost weight and I'm into my fitness. And now you're telling me I'm having a heart attack. This is like just not on. You told me at the wrong time. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ 2-3 ਬੋਤਲਾਂ ਬਕਾਡੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਪੀ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਕਬਾਬ ਖਾਣੇ ਫਿਰ KFC ਜਾਣਾ ਇੰਨਾ 5-6 ਕੁੱਕੜ ਖਾ ਲੈਣੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਨੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਹਾਰਟ ਅਟੈਕ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਸਵੇਰੇ ਕੁਝ ਖਾ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਇਆ ਭੁੱਖਾ and I've just dropped my kid off school and now it was a nightmare, mate. It was like it wasn't like anything what they show you on TV. In the films you hear where you see where people hold your arm and you go oh and all of that. Nothing. I just for 2 days felt like as if you'd roti bag each happy day.
All right, sort of heavy weight on you, Yeah.
I remember it was a Tuesday. I went to Birmingham. I had a jacket potato there, and I came back and I thought, this is not like I haven't digested it properly. So on Tuesday night, I came back and I told my mum, I said, "Mum, dil de beta, when I can't." She goes, "And what's the mum's a large for everything?" Jabila. So I thought, all right, but Jabila. I had my tea. Woke up Wednesday, gym on Wednesday. I did a 5K run, had a sauna steam. Wednesday night, still happening. Thursday, I woke up and it's my day off on Thursdays. So, and I always do the school runs. So just as I was about to leave, my mum goes, how's that, did I gas you or you see dead? And I said, no, hello, mum. And she goes, to hospital. And I thought, I'll drop Cushy off and I'll go to hospital. I'll be out in an hour. And in the mornings, it's not that busy. I dropped her off, met one of the other dads there who I meet, and I told him, I said, look, I've just got a bit of acid, I'm going to go to hospital. He goes, yeah, get it checked out. Drove myself in, went to A&E. First time in my life in A&E, not a single person was sitting there. So it was just me. So I went in, and I said, this is what I'm getting. And she goes, all right, we'll put you on a machine and check anyway. So I thought, I'm wicked, I'm going to be out of here in half an hour. They put an ECG on, and then they go, no, nothing's wrong. It looks like it's just acid. They go, but we're going to do a blood test anyway. So they had me in A&E, did a blood test. When the results of that blood test came back, they started talking between themselves, and then everything started happening, moving at a fast pace. And they wouldn't let me hear what they were saying. They mentioned one word called troponin. And I started Googling it. And when I read it, it says enzyme released when you've had a heart attack. Then I asked the doctor, I said, what's up? And he goes, there's something wrong with your heart. And I said, well, you better fix it. I've got to pick my daughter up at 3 o'clock. And he goes, look, mate, you're not going anywhere. You're having a heart attack and you've been having one for 2 days.
Oh, wow.
And he goes, you would have been collapsed somewhere. And I just couldn't believe it. I said, what? And I phoned my dad, phoned my wife, nothing. And I was like, they're like, we have to take you straight away. I'm like, what? Yeah, and they took me straight away. And at that time, I've never felt so fragile. And I just thought, you know what? When you're at death's door, and I mean right knocking at the door, I didn't remember work. I didn't remember play. I didn't remember music. I didn't remember films. All I saw were my kids' faces. And I'm the last one to believe in visions and the hallucinations and all this sort of stuff, yeah? But the year before, in 2018, a good friend of mine, DJ GURPS, had passed away. And he's a good DJ. Everyone knows him from Calabar. Passed away at a young age. I went to his funeral. And that had a really bad impact on me because he's a young lad. He's left a young little kid as well, young wife. I had a vision of his funeral, but instead of him in the coffin, it was me. And it was my kids standing there in black, my wife's dressed in black, and they're just crying. And at that time, the only thing I could think about, Sat, was, let me see tomorrow morning. And I thought, Fema banda bani. And as they were doing my surgery thing, and they were actually putting stents in, I could hear a doctor, he was an up and as well. And he goes, what are you doing here in a heart attack? You know, at this age. He goes, you shouldn't be here. This is for a place for 60, 70-year-olds. I said, yeah. And as he was looking through my arteries, all he kept on saying was, wow, wow. And I said, that's not a good wow, is it?
Yeah.
And he goes, no. And he goes, both two of your arteries are gone. One's like semi-gone. And he goes, I don't know whether to stent you or whether to do a bypass on you. And I said, a bypass? That's what people have when they're 60s and 70s. And he goes, yeah, you're only 44. And I said, listen, doctor, my kids are like 8 and 2. And I can't afford to take any risks like this. And he goes, well, you're here now. You mean to do something? And then he goes, you know what? I'm going to stent you. Then we're going to have a committee, something called a JCU. And he goes, we're going to have a meeting. And then we're going to decide what to do. And he goes, but we're probably going to have to give you a bypass. Mate, I spent 2 weeks in hospital that day. The first day, I just cried, literally. And I remember I was phoning my mum to tell her, look, I've had a heart attack. I did a WhatsApp video call, like on a video call now. I couldn't get my words out. I literally could not get my words out, not because of the pain, but I didn't know what to say to her. And my mum wasn't speaking. She was just crying, and I was just crying. I've never had a situation like that. And so then in December, I had to have a double bypass. And I remember one of the worst things is after my bypass, my daughter came in and she saw me, and I must have had about 50 wires and tubes coming out of my body. And you know what? To every daughter, the dad is the hero. And to see your hero in that state, I just wasn't happy with it. And I told my wife, I said, you know what? I don't want her to see me like this. I'll come out when I'm back. But yeah, and we didn't tell her that I'd had a heart attack. But she, obviously I did my video for Facebook, the one that you'd seen, right? And then I put out, and I put that, and people ask me, why did you put that out? It's very personal. And I said, well, because I'll tell you why I put that out. I'm a normal guy who had an acid in his stomach, and I ended up having a bypass, being told you're having a heart attack. God knows how many of you lot get that and don't bother and go to the hospital and think, oh, but and you're dead the next morning. This is how people die like this. People ignore it, and then you hear next day, you know, how many times have we heard that? Yeah, gym te leg paya.
Yeah.
You know, ya baar torda baitha hi reh gaya. How many times have we heard that? And then after I put that video out, I got a big response. I had 10 people just message me to say during the next couple of weeks, oh, we were going to the pub. I remember one guy messaged me, goes, we were going to the pub, and my dad said he had like a acid feeling in his stomach, and he goes, we remember what about your video? And I took him straight to Bristol Hospital, and he goes, turns out he was having a heart attack, so they stented him and saved him.
Oh my God.
And then I had a message from people saying, Harjap, you're lucky because my brother had one and he didn't go to the hospital and he didn't last 12 hours and he died at home. So yes, it's a journey and a half. I'm still on the journey. But my key was then I went on a campaign of about 3 to 6 months on BBC Asian Network, on the TVs, on Radio 4, just telling everyone on the Asian radio stations, on Asian TV, look, this is what's happened to me. You'll see it can happen to anyone. And I'd been to the gym a day before and done 5K. So it's our culture of, and Sat, you know this, because you were at uni at the same time as I was. Yeah, we got the same circle of mates, the Grave Jandia. You're probably still doing what I was doing 20 years ago with them, right?
Yeah.
But you know their diet and you know what we were like. Yeah. We were guys at uni. We used to be proud of our empty bottle collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We used to be proud. I mean, I look back at that and I think, what muraks we were.
I know.
We used to be proud. You see, khali botla rakhiya, dekho isi kinna pee sakde hain. You know?
I remember that.
And you remember that every house had one, didn't it? Every house had one, right? And it was something to be proud of. And I was thinking, oh my God, that's not something to be proud of. That's death waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And then we used to eat and drink, and then, you know, we'd be proud if we knocked a bottle in 30 minutes. And that's the wrong way to drink.
I know.
And some people still do that. You're just hemorrhaging your body.
Yeah.
And there's only so much your body can take. You're abusing it. And to people out there doing that, still doing that now, you're going to end up in hospital like me. And you might not be lucky like I was. You might not be the lucky one that survives. So they gave me a percentage of what people survive heart attacks. It wasn't nice. You know, so you've got to be in a lucky few.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
really, you don't want to get to that stage.
No, and you know, look, before that, it's not like you were sessioning and we're still drinking, me and you meeting up. No. You had stopped, right? You had gone on the fitness health kick, and I know because we spoke about it, and I said, you're doing great, you're looking slim, and you go, yeah, I'm really into the gym now, I'm eating well. And like you said, the day before you had a jacket potato. It's not like you went for a mixed grill or anything.
No, nothing. and even my drinking, I'd calmed it down, you know, like, so it's 2014. I had a back operation.
That's right.
And then I really turned myself right around. So now I'm sitting here at the age of 45. There's 3 main parts of your body: your back, your heart, and your brain. I've had operations on 2 of them. So I'm sitting here thinking, how much must have I abused my body when I was younger? You know, not bother about it, not go in gym. I used to take the mick out of people who eat salads and go to the gym. Yeah. And now I sit there. I had the longest period to reflect in hospital. Yeah. In hospital, you're on your own. All I was surrounded by was 60 and 70-year-olds, like it's like God's waiting room. And everyone kept on asking me, "Tu ithe ki karta? Tu to young lagda. Tere to niyane bahut chote hai." And I was like, yeah, they are.
Yeah, you know, you hear them stories, don't you, about so-and-so passed away and he's only in his 40s or he's in his 30s. But you never think it's going to happen to you, do you?
Never. You never think that you could be a potential story.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Then I thought, you know what? Everyone out there is a potential story. Especially in our community, the way they go on. You know, the way we will binge drink, we don't eat well, we don't look after ourselves, we don't get exercise. You know, so...
You know, why do you think that is? Why is it our culture? Because I know when I stopped drinking, right, it was when I used to go to parties, they used to go, right, Sat, and they go, Glassi Lala. That's the first thing they always say to me, right? And I'll be like, no, I'm not drinking. And they were in pure shock. Yeah. Some of them didn't know how to talk to me after that because I went.
And they thought, you know what, you just felt like you feel ostracized. I've been to a few parties now where I haven't had a drink, and I'm holding a water. First, I felt quite ashamed. I thought, fucking शर्म होंदी है ना, आप ये शर्म होंदी है ना अपने आप को सोई बसोए ना आप वो ना शर्म होंदी है आपा कि बाकी सारे ग्लासी लोग ले तू पानी फड़ेया है ना और then I thought, you know what, but Bucky aren't in the place that you are. Bucky ain't been in the situation now. Bucky and you've got a 2-year-old, and you've got an 8-year-old daughter. And I said, you've seen the results of your glassies. These lot just haven't had the results yet. So these lot haven't had the wake-up call. Then I thought, you know what? I don't need that drink to bring my personality out.
No.
I can be jokey, funny, Harjap, and just like as I am on a TV show, on the radio, my glassy like you know, but I'm like this anyway. So I'm thinking, why do I want to put myself through that? And then what you do is when everyone else is drunk, then that's when it really kicks in. Because then you look at them and the way they behave, and you think, you know what? I bet I behave like that, and even worse.
Yeah.
And then I act like that in front of my kids and my wife and my parents. And then you know what? We sit back and then we command respect. Because I do respect.
Yeah.
Well, the bottom line is, if Bandar behave, then you're going to get the respect a Bandar deserves.
No, exactly.
If you're going to behave like a Bandar, then you're going to get the respect a Bandar deserves. But what I do see it now, if people say, look to Glassy Lala, I'll say, listen, mate, मैं hospital आया, मैंने heart attack होया, मैं फिर नहीं आना उठे. मैंने नियाने ब्यालन दे सुख नाल. If I get to that stage, फिर जिन्नी मर्जी लो when I'm ready to meet God, I said, मैं तो लग गया है दर्शन करे हैं रब दे. Luckily, my name wasn't on the guest list to go to heaven. They must have said, tera naam nahi. They must have said to the they nahi hunde jamdoot. They must have said to him, can you check? We wrote Hardev, not Harjap.
Yeah, typo.
We got the wrong bloke. Send it back. Yeah, typo. Send it back. Your name's not on the list. So yeah, and I said,
you've had a lucky escape, really, haven't you?
I said, if you know what, moderation. I can have one glassy now and have that and last 2 hours with it, 3 hours with it. And I don't have to have 5 glassy in half an hour. I don't have to do that. So that's the key. The key is either you can control it or you're not, or you can't. I'm learning to control it.
But that's good. I mean, if you've got that, I mean, for me, if I have one, I'm going to have all the bottle, or
I know you because you that's the way you drink. And sometimes that's the way I drink, but sometimes it isn't. So I've just got to turn the way you've just got to realize. And my dad used to be the same as you. So he'd never have one. If he opened a bottle, it's got to be finished.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
And it's got to be finished.
That's kind of my start. And when I tell you, when I stopped as well, the first month or so, I had every ache and pain under the sun. And I felt like I was having a heart attack, and I thought, I got kidney problems, and I thought I couldn't breathe properly. My asthma came back after I stopped drinking, and I just become really paranoid. And I think I was just suppressing it by drinking.
Yeah, what it is, it's you become dependent upon it, so your body can't function without it. And then, so what you've got to do is retrain your body again for how to function about it, how it should be. Yeah. So when you were drinking, that's your body was not how it should be. It's what you've made it into. Now your body is what it should be, and I bet now you don't have any problems. You look like in fact, you're one of the inspirations for gym people. So when we want to get inspired, like when we miss gym for 5 days, then I'll go right. Let's have a look at Sat's Instagram or something. And Sat and said, look at Sat, man. Look what he used to be, and look what he is. Yeah. And look at his get all the dead. And look at his biceps. And then that makes you think, you know what? If Sat can do it, I've probably got now.
That's me. So, if I can do it, yeah.
Yeah, and look from where you've gone.
Yeah.
Look at your journey.
Yeah.
You interview everyone about their own journeys, right? But one day you need to do a podcast where you honestly just talk about your journey. And I remember we talked on TV about this because I called you onto the show.
Oh, really?
And people loved that show because they go, the amount of honesty this guy just came out with is amazing. And you need to that's your main podcast, to just sit there and talk about your journey, because people will learn from it. If people like me are looking at your photos and learning from it, then trust me, there's so many people out there, especially in lockdown, who've got dependent on alcohol or getting into the bad habits, who've lost their way. And and it results in broken families, broken relations with your parents, lack of respect from the kids, neglect towards their education, neglect towards your duties. People have lost their jobs over alcohol. I met someone recently, lost his job at the airport because he just couldn't stop drinking. And, we've got to realise it's a big issue in our community. It's a big issue. It's not a competition, and you're not a hero, you know. And if I had said this to my younger self 20 years ago, I would have told this older self to get lost.
Yeah.
And I would have said, "Tanugi bata." Yeah. But now I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, you know what? The 20-year-olds might not want to listen to this, but believe me, people our age in the 40s and 50s, they're going to want to listen. And if they don't, one day their body will tell them, like mine did. My body was telling me, and has told me, look, Bhaskar hun. Bada badhiya, hun Bhaskar. And that wasn't even, you know, drinking. It's not as even if I drank every week or anything like that. It's just the years of abuse I've done from the age of 18 till possibly the age of 30. It's them 12 years where I just went at it. I used to eat out every night at a restaurant. A bottle then would go with your food. Mate, total disrespect for my body.
Yeah.
Total disrespect for my body. And then one day my body said, sorry, mate, honey, there's only two options. You start respecting your body, or we'll take the body away from you and you can just have your atma left. And that can go all the way to God. Literally, you haven't got much of a choice. And I was like, right, I think I'll take the first option.
Yeah, exactly. And there might not be no typo next time, Harjap, you know.
That's right, yeah. And there's a lot of people who haven't had typos. Yeah. Always on Facebook, and I see the status, you know, Flanna dead, Flanna. Yeah, that's it, mate. It's, you know, banda akarda rehda his whole life. I am. This is what I am. I'm a big man. I'm this, I'm that. Actually, we can't even handle that.
No.
There's nothing to be secure about here. No. We should be very careful in what we do, and we should use our time wisely.
Yeah. And it's amazing that pull of alcohol as well, because look at in the situation we're in with COVID, and you know, we'll be asked to stay at home and basically watch Netflix. That's all we have to do, right? Is stay at home and stay safe. But we can't even do that. Sometimes we need to get out. I mean, when the pubs opened, I don't know. It's not just Punjabi people, but people that drink. You know, they couldn't wait to get out and drink and you know, go from I don't know, mixed grills and whatever, right? And look at the consequences of that.
Pub heroes, I call them. Well, actually, I've got. You must have seen a video I put out about 2 weeks ago. I've got a friend who plays Dole for DCS, Simon. You probably know him.
Yeah,
right. So I phoned him to wish him a happy anniversary on a Sunday. I said, Simon, a happy anniversary, and I left him a voice note. Like, because you know, if I'm famous for one thing, is I've taught all Punjabis how to voice note.
Yeah, you have. Definitely.
So, मैं बधाइयां दित्तियां ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਾਦੀਆਂ ਬਧਾਈਆਂ ਭਰਾਵਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ COVID ਹੋਇਆ. And I said, how did you get COVID? And he goes, you know, it's my own fault. The pubs opened, and he goes, I was dying for a pint, and my missus told me, and I came back and gave it to my missus. He goes, oh, my bad time. The kids have been separated from me. He goes, I'm lucky I didn't live with my parents. And so, crazy, eh? Crazy. That's how literally quickly you can pick it up by going for a pint. And you know, ultimately, do you know what ultimately it boils down to, Sat? It boils down to happiness and mental state. We drink to cheer ourselves up, to feel happy, or to remember happier times. So when I drink, I always float back to my childhood. When I used to go to Green Street to buy my tapes for £2.50, you know, when I used to bring my VHS home, watch the old Amitabh Mitton films, I'd go back to my childhood when I was carefree and I had a good time, and, you know, we didn't have no pressures. But yeah, it's a mental state. And you know that more than anything. Right?
Yeah.
So if you're mentally not happy, you search for your happiness elsewhere, in drugs, in booze, you know, in any sort of other stuff, nights out, gambling. You turn to all these vices to try and cheer you up, when actually it's a matter of, if you're mentally solid, there can be as many amount of booze and drugs and all that in front of you. You won't touch it. You won't need it. Yeah.
No, you're right. I used to always be impressed with people that I used to know that didn't drink, didn't smoke, didn't take any drugs, and they'll be at parties. Did you ever used to look at them people and think, wow, how do they do that, man? They just seem to have they're dancing, and they're just having orange juice and they're enjoying it. And I'm having a drink, and actually I feel like shit. Really, I'm making out I'm happy, but actually I don't feel that happy.
Yeah. But you're just trying to make yourself happy because of the buzz, the artificial buzz that the booze gives.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
actually, so I'll be honest, at the time I used to see them people, I used to think, how sad, how boring are they? They don't even have to enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And even actually, that was wrong, but that was just the way we used to think.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's the way we've been conditioned to think.
Yeah. In the early days, I used to think that as well. I used to think, oh, that's sad. I never used to even talk to them. That's the stage.
I never used to give them the respect that they deserved.
They deserved.
You know what? And now I look back on it. You know what? So I look back at a lot of things about what I was during my 20s. Yeah. So I was all jut this, jut that, jut that. I look back on that and I think, how stupid was I? When I see other people doing it now at my age, I think, son, in 20 years, you're going to regret saying this.
Yeah.
But at the moment, you're on that vibe. Of course, yeah. But so I looked at all of that. Yeah. I used to treat people differently. Yeah. I used to, separate people. I used to, oh man, I had so many wrong priorities. And I look back at that Harjap, and I'm glad I left that there at uni. And since I left uni, I evolved and I changed. I'm glad I'm the Harjap I am now, albeit I've had some real shit experiences.
Yeah.
But that was that time. Ahon damn apana.
Yeah.
And they always say, "Jwanich Josh, Buddha Pech Hosh." Not that me and you are Buddha, but that Josh, it runs out.
Yeah.
Then it gets replaced by experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I'm super glad about though, that when we was at university and together drinking, and there was no video phones and WhatsApp, we would have been WhatsApp memes. You definitely would have been one, because you're one now anyway with your TV show, which is good, but we would have been memes with some of the stuff we did.
I would have been shut out as well, because no one would have wanted to marry. We never got married.
No way.
After our antics. No. Can you imagine if people were recording them and stuff like that? And
it's still going around now. So a lot of youngsters, you're talking about,
there for life. And our kids went on to Google or onto YouTube, and they saw their old man doing, I don't know, all sorts of what we used to do.
Yeah, all sorts. Leave it there. Yeah.
But I tell you what, we were happier
without the recordings. Yeah, definitely.
But there was no pressure.
No.
Right. So you knew there's no pressure, and then we had no pressure. We could be ourselves. Nowadays, I feel we have to be, everybody is living a fake life. They're pretending to be something that they're not, or they're always aware they can't be themselves. The only place you can be yourself is in the toilet.
Yeah.
Even then, you got someone saying, in Nigeria, I told you. And if you're like, man, it's the only place I can get my head together.
Yeah, but then people are sitting on the toilet with a phone, though, aren't they, these days?
Yeah, of course. I sit on the phone. I sit on the toilet with my phone. My iPad.
Yeah.
I've dropped my phone down the toilet once. I was that's a story as well. So I was sitting down on the toilet, yeah, and happy as Larry. I just heard this sort of plop sort of thing. And as you do, right? Then I thought nothing of it, yeah. Got up, then washed your hands on that. And I thought, where's my phone? Where's my phone? I thought, shit. That was the splash that I heard, and my phone and the bear swimming in the toilet. Took it out, all gone, mate.
Nice.
That taught me never to but I still take my phone into the toilet. But now I'm very, very weary of it.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right. There's an element now. I do feel sorry a bit for the youngsters these days, because they have a lot to live up to, and there's a lot of pressure on them. There's that sort of social acceptance. They want to be accepted. They want loads of likes and shares, and they feel if they get them, then they're somehow validated and they're good, because they're looking at other people, and it's kind of sad in a way, right? And I feel
you know what? For social media, it's such a double-edged sword, right? And you're talking to a guy who's quite famous on social media, right? Social media made me in a way. My TV show did, my radio show, my social media has, has done that. But I see people now, they put kids' videos on social media, and I think, what pressure to put on a child already? Do you really think that the child is not going to go back and have a look at all the comments that people have left? And some are going to be just pure nasty. Yeah. And is that not going to affect a child's mental state? We've got a rule in our house. So I'm very out there on social media. My wife's not on social media. Yeah. She said to me on day one, she said, I'm not going to be on social media. That's not for me. And I said, fine. And I said, I am. And then when we had kids, we've got another rule. So she goes, you can't put any photos of my kids up on social media. I don't want you to put anything about them, videos or any photos of them up. And I said, you know what? Fair dues. I'm not going to fight with you about that. And she goes, you're out there. I see the effect it has on you. Yeah. When I first started doing my YouTube videos, sometimes I would stay awake all night because someone made a comment. And I'd think, how can he say that? It wouldn't let me sleep. Now, obviously, I've developed a proper mental mindset about it. But that's a personal me, aged in my 30s I was. I didn't know how to handle it. How are we expecting a 5-6-year-old to handle social media?
Exactly.
No chance, mate. No chance. Right. So you need to be trained. There's adults out there who can't handle social media. 90% of the people on social media probably can't handle it. Haven't got the mental capacity to deal with it.
No.
Haven't got the mental toughness to deal with it.
No.
Yeah. Every time you watch Jeremy Kyle, it's always about on Facebook they said this, on Facebook they said that, on social media they said this, right? Or that social media kept that show going for the last 10 odd years.
Yeah.
Right. So kids ain't ready for that.
No.
There's no way a kid's ready for that. So I respect my wife's opinion, although I think, right, a photo isn't going to hurt. And sometimes I feel like putting a photo on there. But I think, you know what? I'd rather keep my marriage. And if I've been told that and I've agreed to it, then I should stick to it. As a man of principle, you should stick to it. And you should stick to that. When the time's right, they can go on social media and do their own thing and all that. But before that, I need to train them. I need to teach them about the goods and the evils in the world out there. They need to be mentally stable so that they can't break. Because social media breaks people. I'm sorry, it might make people, but it breaks a lot more people than it makes.
Absolutely. And you know what? I kind of side with your wife on this because your social media following is quite big, you know. And it's quite international as well. You know, India, a lot of people with India, Canada, they all love your stuff. So I know where she's coming from. From my point of view, I've stopped now putting pictures of my kids up. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't put that many up now. Not that I've got not because I've got many followers. It's just I've got people following me now because of the show that I don't really know. Whereas before it's kind of people that I knew from uni and Gravesend, right? So they were kind of people I knew. Now it's people I don't really know them, right? And so I'm not as comfortable to do it. And it's difficult. Like you're right. It's a hard one. It's a different generation. That's what I mean. I'm so glad when we was younger that we kind of missed that. We just about missed it, didn't we? Because the phones just came out as we left uni. You know, or they were around at the time, weren't they?
Bro, at uni, if someone said something to you, there'd be fights over it, like 20-man punch-ups. Yeah. Imagine like now people are all day saying stuff to each other on social media. What can that do for your mental health?
Yeah.
Not good at all, is it?
No.
But social media is just someone sitting behind a screen like we are today. They don't have to show their face. They don't have to show their name. And they can let all there. They got all this zed in them, and they just spout it out all on social media, and that's their outlet. That's their therapy. It's not the best good way of doing it, but you're gonna find people like that, and I'm not letting that zed anywhere near my family.
No.
And when my kids will be ready, they'll be ready to how to deal with that zed. Yeah, they'll know what to do with it, deal with other people's poison, what to listen to, what to ignore. It's really, really essential. I'm not having my kids have sleepless nights because of a comment on social media. Yeah. I'm not having that, you know, and you know how protective kids are, their mums and dads. You know, if someone wrote a comment about you or me on social media and our kid had it, I saw it, they'd be upset about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the root of that upset, of making my kid upset. That's the last thing I want to do is upset my children. I want to do exactly the opposite. So that's it. It's an evil to an extent, and you've got to keep the bad away.
Yeah, I think we kind of get used by social media instead of using it ourselves positively. I've learned that now, that from the show, it's purely for the show, to be honest, and keep in touch with family in Canada, and so that's how I use it. And I follow people I like, positive people.
Of course, yeah.
I like your post on positivity about not worrying about other people. Don't lend them any fucking money. And I saw that one recently, and I was
that one the other day. Yeah. I think a lot of people like that because everyone's had an experience like that, right?
Yeah, everyone, right? And I think I probably borrowed some money and not paid them back.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what? I've been reading a book called Irresistible, and it's about how we've become addicted to social media. And he talks about addiction from obviously drugs and alcohol, pornography, gambling. And he has case studies about a guy who was on a game show, and he's so obsessed with the game show, and he went crazy, and he died penniless, right? And what it showed was they had an interview with Steve Jobs on some show, and he goes, "Look, have you given your children iPads?" And he's like, "Oh no." Yeah. He goes, "We limit the screen time in our house," because he knew that these devices were built to kind of keep us on them. And the apps on there, they're just built. I mean, if you look at TikTok, are you on TikTok? You've got to be on TikTok. Harjap. Are you on there?
Yeah, I'm. But I don't really use it as frequently as I should do. But I see people in India are addicted to it, mate. And there's some people that I know who are addicted to it, and it runs their life.
Yeah. And if you
know the irony is that they're making all these videos, and it's taking them a whole day to make the video, or 2 days. And I'm like, you can't be, because like you spend 2 or 3 days making a video on TikTok.
Yeah. And if you look at the way
they kid themselves.
I know. And if you look at the way TikTok's built, it's pure a feed of videos non-stop. It doesn't stop, does it? You could be on there hours, and you could continuously just looking and looking. But people do.
And it has no value. No. It adds no value to your life, sir.
Yeah.
In fact, it reduces your life by a day, because you spent the whole day on there. You're not going to get the day back.
Yeah. And
it has no value. And the more stupider your video is, the more likes you get.
Exactly. We're kind of. I mean, there are some funny ones on there. I've got to admit, there are. But it's just. I think it's the way society is moving with this social media, and we need to teach our children that there is a limit. I mean, on Twitter, I've only just gone back on there, but people are on there all day.
Of course.
I've seen people on all day tweeting about this, that, the other, and I was thinking, when do they do the work? When they're like certain, in whatever careers. I don't want to say what careers they're in, because you might guess who they are. But when do they actually do the actual work that made them that person for a start? It's
because people have a lot of time on their hands, have a lot of things to say. It's a way to express it. When they get followers, they get a buzz. Yeah? They get a buzz. They think, oh, look at my followers. I know some people that all they do is look at their followers. They even got the apps that tells them, right, someone unfollows them. They send you a message. Why did you unfollow me? And I was like, well, meri marji hai, tu mummy lagdi meri. I need to follow you. You know what I mean? So, and then they become obsessed with it. They become obsessed with it. And they actually think that this family is a real family of theirs, and these are real followers. Whereas if that guy met them on the street, they probably wouldn't even know who they are. They probably wouldn't remember.
Yeah.
It's fame. I think it's in search of fame. It's a mixture of that, in search of love. But these people, ultimately, people aren't happy. That's what it is. I can be happy in a room on my own. I can be happy now. I've learned that over time. I've learned to be happy between myself. I don't need followers. I don't need viewers. I don't need listeners. I say this on my TV show all the time. I say, if you like the show, watch it. Otherwise, don't have to. I'm not sitting here to please you. You don't have to. I don't put an ad on saying, "Mera show dekho, mera show dekho."
Exactly.
This is not my earning. This is not my living.
Exactly. I mean, I get loads of people saying, get this person on. He's got a massive following. She's got a massive following. You get loads of listeners. You will get loads of followers. And I was thinking, I don't really care. I'm not too that fussed. I want people to listen.
But if you don't like that person's views, or you don't,
Yeah, you
But
know.
if you don't think that person's interesting, or if you don't think that person's real, or if their views don't match what your principles are in life, then you'd
Yeah.
think, well, why should I get him on? I get that on the same time on the TV. Like in all that DVD, I said, why? He's just going to sit there an hour talking about himself and wants me to do,
Yes.
yeah, I'm not doing no job, Lucy, for no one. If I
No.
think someone's genuine and got a message to tell my viewers and the public, and is going to be on benefit, then I'll bring them on. But if you just want me to sit there and say, yeah, aren't you great? You're a great humanitarian. तू तो बहुत कर दी charity ਲਈ तू तो बहुत कुछ कीता तेरे मगर तो बहुत लोग क्या forget that, mate. Or ਕਿਸੇ ਹੋਰ I'm not here to be do job, Lucy. Ain't got time for that.
Yeah. But you're still doing your show now. Obviously, you obviously recovered, and you look well now at the moment. So you're doing your show. You're obviously working immigration. I know you're back on the radio as well, doing your immigration guru work. So how are you keeping now? Have you changed anything about your
with the Britishasian network? Yeah.
What about your routines?
Doing a lot of stuff. Yeah, I've got my routine back. I always take Thursdays off, so my Thursday's always off. Yeah, because that Thursday I took off when I had my heart attack. That's what saved me. If I'd been at work, I'd have been a dead man.
Yeah.
So I take my Thursdays off now. But yeah, I work 4 days, 5. Yeah, sometimes I do Saturdays. Yeah, life. I'm doing all right. Saturday. The only thing with me is I had kids late, as you know. So we went through a lot of miscarriages and difficulties, and it's quite well documented. We spoke about it last time as well. And other than that, we had a lot of miscarriages, and at one point we thought we were told we can't have kids. So now I think whenever I think, right, I want to throw myself into my work too much, then I just remember the times when I never used to have kids. So now it's all about racing back to see them on time, sitting there, passing down what my dad's passed down to me, to them, making sure that they're good people, making sure they'll be able to survive without me, because one day we ain't going to be around, sir. And that's, a person, we get so caught up in this world, we forget the main thing, that we're going to die. I remember once, I was having a glassy coming back from a wedding, and I was sitting there with my dad, and I got really upset at the thought of my dad not being around. And I said to Dad, tu ek din mar jana hai na? He looked at me, he goes, tu nahi marna? And that's what he said. And that just hit me, and I thought, you're right, Dad. I'm going to die too one day. And I think we just forget that. We forget. Yeah. The problem is we think we have time. We don't. We don't have time. So we're on limited time. Make use of the time. It's the one thing that you can't get back. तेरे को जितने मर्जी पैसे हों, तू मैनू टाइम खरीद के दस दे. Buy me back your last 5 years or your 10 years. We can't do it.
Yeah.
So the idea is to create good memories, to create good times. So when we're not around, our children, our mates, everyone can remember us. You know what? That guy was a good guy. He had something to say.
Yeah.
Not that changa hai mar gaya.
I'm sure when you was in a hospital bed, you wasn't thinking about how many followers you've got or how many shares you got, and and you weren't looking at materialistic things. Your concern was your family, and then moments with your family.
All I wanted to do was get through the day. I told you, when I was on that operating table, all I thought was, that's all I want to see. That's all you think about. Trust me, anyone who's been there knows it. That's all they think about. Sara kuch na zero ho janda. Your cars, your property, your bank balances, your clothes, your pens, your shoes, whatever you've got, your mobile phone, your iPad, all of that, your work becomes zero, your office becomes zero. Because all you're trying to do is get through today.
Yeah. It's just
someone's telling you could be dead, and it's just hit home, and you just think, I just want to get through today. Yeah. And then my next concern was, you know what? This happened to me, and I didn't expect it. And I thought it was acid. I wonder how many other people are going for it. And so I thought, you know what? Let's do a video. Let's just tell everyone how I feel and what's happened to me. I have no shame in doing that. So a lot of people say, well, why did you do that? You were still in hospital. Don't do what I do, but do what I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
If you do what I do, you're going to end up where I am. And it's not a nice place. Hospitals are not nice places.
No. Especially, and you know what? I think people do listen to you as well. And especially during COVID as well. I remember when you was trying to explain to maybe the elderly Punjabi community about masks and the classic TV in my house. That is because I made my mum watch it, because even though you was kind of, it's a serious point you was making, but you had it in, and you said it in a Punjabi way, right? And which really hit home. My mum was laughing, but she goes, "Nahi, sahi gall karda, sahi, right?" And I go, "See, you need to put it on properly. You can't all this kind of business up here and talking to me when it's down here. What you?" Yeah, but that was you've done such a great thing, I think, because people do listen to you. You're kind of a cult hero in the Punjabi community, and I think, especially your TV show, there's point.
That's a big label. So that's a big label. I don't want.
I know, but there was a point where you was kind of angry, weren't you, on your show? I think it was annoying you. Yeah,
of course it was, because people were dying. So you had 1,000 people dying a day.
Yeah,
because of COVID. And like our people were walking around as if yeah,
they were.
You know, like you should have come and seen Southall and Birmingham and Smethwick. You know, people were like as if and get up and COVID nahi hundi. What? And I was like, apne bande nu COVID nahi hundi? What are you on about? We're the community that are most affected by it. Yeah. So and then it was like, nahi, glassi la lo, gatte kha lo, COVID nahi honi.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Are you serious? And people are taking these messages seriously.
Yeah.
So then I thought, you know what, let's get through to the older community, because they're the ones that most risk. And I think it's one of life's blessings that I get a lot of people contacting me saying, Harjap, our parents, they always listen to what you say and they respect what you say. So I think it's just I've been blessed with that level of respect where elders listen to what I say and, you know, they think, Harjap, tu gal sachi karda. And I think I've built that up over time, over people watching it every week, listening to what I'm saying. And that's my sort of reward for it, in the fact that, you know, I get a lot of respect from elders. But you're right. So I have a lot of people saying, Harjap, please phone my mum and tell her how to wear a mask properly, because she won't listen to me. Yeah. So I've had to do that. I've had to phone people's parents and say, look, to see a dad. And they go, and then they're sitting there thinking, I'm this person's child, and they won't listen to me. And they've never even met Harjap. But they're like, okay, but is he get that again? But so, like, yeah, I think I'm like become like the child which, you know, the parents just adopted into their house every Friday night. I get adopted into their house. Between 7 and 8. I say, let's just listen.
I think so, because you like you said, you've built it over time. You know, it's not you've come along. It's taken you years and years. For anyone listening, you know, you can't just suddenly become internet famous unless you do some putekam or something. But if you want to do something decent, it takes time, years, consistency. You know, you've been doing your show consistently for years now.
15 years.
It's unbelievable. Years, there you go. You know, so it's not an overnight success. You're not an overnight success, Harjap.
No, right? Not at all. Not at all, man. Not at all. Not an overnight success at all. And I suppose that's why I still hang around, because if you become an overnight success, then you go overnight as well. I remember when Shilpa Shetty was in Big Brother, and Shah Rukh Khan was asked about it, saying Shilpa Shetty's really famous amongst the UK now. And he said it as well. He goes, overnight success gains. It goes that way as well now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was not that Shilpa Shetty wasn't famous anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously in England, a lot of people, Gordy hadn't heard of her.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, so it's not even success. I don't even view it in terms of success. It's not about success and failures. It's just a journey. You started this whole conversation with the word journey. And this is what we're on. We're just on a journey. And if people can learn from my journey and learn from my mistakes, I always say this. I always say the smart people learn from other people's mistakes and don't make them. Anyone can learn from their own mistakes. Me and you, we learn from our own mistakes, right?
Yeah.
But if someone else looks at us and learns from our mistakes and doesn't make them, that's success.
Yeah.
Then that's being clever. So I always say to people, and I do that on Facebook as well. So I look at a lot of other people's Facebook statuses and I look and learn. You know, so I spend a lot of time with my parents and live with my parents, because I see the one status which people write is like, Dad, I wish I had more time with you. Mum, I wish I had more time with you. And I've promised myself I'm never going to write that status ever about my mum and dad, because I'm going to spend that time with them while it's there.
No,
so, beautiful. You know, I learn from other people's experiences, and I want other people to learn from my experiences. And this is why, and you know, like you said, I'm happy that people do sit there and listen. And I'm glad they make their kids listen as well, because you can't get the remote off them between 7 and 8. They're like, Harjap, and all that. So the other kids are like, oh, we have to watch it as well. And now I've got this whole viewership of like kids in their 20s, you know, between the age of 20 and 30 or 16 upwards. And there was like, uncle, we watch a show. And I'm like, well, first of all, less of the uncle.
Yeah.
And secondly, why do you watch the show for? You've got nothing to do with immigration. They go, we just like it. We just like what you say. It's a laugh as well. Plus, we get to know what other people are thinking when the callers phone. And it's quite surprising. So
yeah,
I call it infotainment.
yeah,
You know, it's educational information and it's a bit of entertainment as well.
yeah.
And you know my style from uni. A lot of people say, "Oh, does he put this on? This whole, humor and stuff like that."
No,
I've always been like that. If you've ever sat down and had a drink with me, you're going to think, "Oh my God, this guy's more funny than what he is on the TV."
Yeah.
So you know, we've always been this way. It's not something.
No, none of it's put on. No, none of it's put on. I think that's what because you're real, right? And I can tell anyone, I can say confidently, anyone listening and watching, Harjap is the way he is on TV in real life. He's just the same, right? Probably his jokes are probably a bit ruder in real life because but apart from that, look, we're coming towards the end. I don't want to keep you too long, you know, but because I wanted you to come on the 30th show. Because I got to 30 and I thought it was a nice round number, and I thought I'd bring my mate on.
Yeah, no, why not?
Well, I know.
You know, and all your shows have been really good. You know, I've enjoyed watching your journey, and I've said this to you before. I said it to you in a voice note, right? And I'll say it now in front of everyone because there's nothing to hide. I've enjoyed watching your journey, and I've enjoyed watching you evolve. And I think that's the best show you're ever going to do is where someone interviews you openly and honestly about your show, and you talk openly and honestly and unburden ourselves, because that's what we do. We're unburdening ourselves, right?
Yeah, definitely.
What's going on. And look, everyone's got a journey. Everyone who you've interviewed has got a journey, and you've interviewed quality people, and they're not necessarily famous, right? So you've done what you've said. You haven't gone for the clicks and likes and the famous people. You've gone for the people who are real, for the people who've been through stuff, for the people who are inspiring. It's amazing when you look at people's journeys, and you've got your own journey. And I enjoy watching your journey from what you were, from what I remember of you, from what you are now, you know, and from us, you know, similar journeys from boyish louts, gabrus, you know, bale boys, Bhangra boys and all of that, you know, don't care, Kalbio gang as I always call it, yeah. To now look, we're responsible fathers dishing out life advice for people, yeah, as if bald, right? Telling other people like, they could listen to us as he bald, be banned, yeah, right? But and we're telling people to learn from others. If this, mate, it's a journey and a half, and we've got another 20, 25 years to go, God willing, of God knows what we're going to evolve into, and ultimately, you know, we're getting better and better and wiser and wiser. And I think that's what life is. And people who want to know what is life, life's about growth. It's about growth. You grow from a child, you grow as an individual, you grow physically, and then you don't grow physically, but you grow mentally. And you end life with all of this achievement you've got from your growth, and you pass that on to others, whether they're your children, whether they're your brothers and sisters, whether they're your pupils, you know, whether they're your listeners or your viewers. That's what it's about. And life is a growth, and you're growing and I'm growing. Everyone on your show who you interview, they're growing and they've grown. It's great, mate. I love listening to people's journeys, as do you, because there's so much about them that we don't know. And then I try and do what you do. I take all of the good stuff, the stuff that I don't think is useful, or try to do that at one time, and I use that in my own experiences to help us grow, you know. And it's everyone's got something personal which they want to share. For me, it's my back operation, my journey about not being able to have kids. You know, for me, it's that my thing about immigration, about looking at other people's journeys, sharing them stories. That's my journey. That's my growth. And you know, yours, you've got your own journey to tell people, and it's great. And I think it's great. This is the best thing that people can do. Listen to. Mate, you've done 30 shows out of nothing. If 10 years ago I'd have said to you, Sat, this is what you're going to do, you would have laughed in my face, and I would have laughed at you.
With a glassy, you cheers.
Yeah, we'd have had a glassy, and we would have had a cooker in our hand, one hand, glassy in the other. Now look at you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
In front of a keyboard, microphone, got a headphone on. You never imagined it.
No.
And I tell you what, a lot of people must tell you, you know what, that Sat, you've changed.
Yeah.
Anna, Sat, you've become this. Now, there's some people who will tell you you've changed for the better, and I'll tell you you've changed for the better. But some people might say, no, you're changed.
Oh yeah.
You've changed, Sat. You know, and like imply that that was better, and now you're not a good person.
Yeah.
You haven't changed, Sat. You've just stopped living life others wanted you to, the way other people wanted you to.
Exactly.
I always say that. I say I haven't changed. I've just stopped living life the way you wanted me to.
Yeah.
I start living my own life now the way I want to and the way I should. That's why I've changed.
Yeah. And it's usually generally people that, for me, when I stopped drinking, if there was usually still kind of on the session, right, they wanted to carry on that life. And because I had stopped, I don't know if it's reflected on them. They start looking at themselves, thinking, you know,
which is good.
Yeah.
They should have.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they look at you and they must think, well, hold on, do I need to drink every night? You know? Now, and I'm thankful for my friends who are around me who inspire me to do that sort of stuff. It's all about the company as well. You know what it's like. When you're in bad company, you get dragged down, peer pressure. Yeah. And when you're amongst good people, you get an automatically good feeling. There must be so many people you interview, and after that you think, you know what, yeah, wicked.
Oh, definitely.
You get a buzz from it. Yeah. What inspiration. And that's it. And that's the sort of vibes that you need to keep. We need to keep that positivity, Sat. And we need to let go of the negativity. And don't look back, I will say, because you're not going that way anymore. But I don't look back at what I was. The only day I look back is I think, you know what, I don't want to be that again. So people ask me, oh, you know, what was Harjap like in his 20s? And I was like, yeah, he was what he was, but I wouldn't want to be that now.
Yeah.
You know, but that time it was all right. Or sige, jo sige. You know, we didn't have the knowledge then. We didn't have the experience then.
No.
Yeah, you just deal with what you have.
It's growth. And look, man, it's been great having you on. And I'll make a deal with you. So for the 50th show, you can be the guest host.
I'd love to interview you, sir.
Yeah, and then you can interview me. You could be the guest host of the show. Let's do that.
I'd love to interview you. And you know what? I think forget all your other shows. That's the show people need to listen to. Because just like, you know, when people see me every week, and we've talked about this, then the viewers have an attachment. All your listeners have an attachment with you. They don't listen for your guest.
Yeah.
They listen for you, sir. So they have an attachment with you. And the best thing will be for you to speak honestly and to you answer the questions. I'd love it. I'd love to interview you. And you know my style. I'll probe and I'll get down to it and I'll get down to the nitty gritty. It won't be an easy interview. It's not going to be an easy ride, mate.
No.
I'm not going to give you an easy ride.
That's what you did to me last time.
You know, all the stuff to look all get a care. In the deep bit, you know, the bit that you don't want to come out. I want all of that to come out, and we want to say to people, here it is. Learn from us.
Yeah.
The whole point of them listening to this is to learn.
Yeah.
And I learn stuff. I learn stuff from listening to you. And you know, before I would have this thing like, no, I already know enough. Who's going to teach me something? So 10, 15 years ago, I'd think, no, I'm not going to be taught nothing by that person. He doesn't know anything. Now I think everybody has something to teach me. Oh, yeah. Sometimes even my kids teach me stuff, and they're only 2 and 8. Like, you know, and I'm sure that's the same for you, right? So everyone's got something to teach you.
Yeah.
That's it now. I never dismiss anyone now. Yeah, and it's great, mate. I learned so much stuff. I remember when I had my heart attack. Just going to little story.
Yeah.
There was a guy opposite. Yeah, he was very cheerful. And I got speaking to him, and I said, "What's the matter?" He goes, "I'm in here every other week," and he goes, "I've come to a space time now, where," he goes, "I'm not going to come back again." And I've told him I don't want this support now. I just want to deal with it at home on my own. I said, "But you'll die." And he goes, "I know." I said, "You won't last a year." And he goes, "I know." And he goes, "But I've made that mind up." But I said, "How are you so cheerful when you know you're going to die?" And you know, he taught me so much, and I just sat with him. He went through his life. When his relatives would come to see him, yeah, I'd sit there and listen. So I'd just be pretending I'd be on my iPad. I'd sit there and listen. And then you could see that he was always the favorite uncle to the kids, you know, and like everyone came to see him. And he was just full of so much energy and positivity. And then they started talking to me as relatives once. And I told them, I said, this guy's amazing. I said, you know what? This guy, this is how he is all day, and this is what he is, and this is what he's going through. And this is the crack that he's going to go home now. He won't be back to hospital. He said, I'm not even going to last a year. But he's still sitting with you, laughing and joking. You know, he's not depressed. And I said, he's happy. He goes, I've lived my life and happy. And actually, he was Jamaican. So his mum and dad had come from Jamaica. So when he was telling stories of his kids and joint families and how they live, it was very much like us Indians and Punjabis live. When we first came and joint 3 families in a house. You know, there'd only be about 4 pair of shoes, and only 4 could go out at one time. You know? And you had to share stuff. And like at afternoon, all the Budiya would get together and make the roti, and the blokes come home from work. So it's all of that. And I thought, blimey, you lived exactly like we did. And he goes, yeah. And I said, that's how we all grew up. And so it was amazing. I learned a lot, mate. Even in the face of death, some people are so positive and so full of depressed that my life thinking I could have been dead. Oh my God, now I've got to be like this. The doctor came and said, you want to have a bypass? That'll only last 10 years. And I was like, what? 10 years? What the heck are you doing? And, so yeah, I learned a lot. That's what I, see now at this stage in my life.
Yeah, definitely. If you can learn lessons in the hardest of times, I think you're doing okay, not just the good times, but in the hardest of times. If you learn a lesson, I think it's, I think that's fantastic. And, I'm glad that you're doing well. You're looking fit and healthy, and we're finally learning our lessons.
Your wall is making me.
Huh?
Yeah, right. Your wall is making me happy behind you. So for people who are listening and can't see us, so Sat behind his wall, he's got Jamkila Amarjot, he's got Rick Astley. Right, if there's ever a contrast there, that's amazing. He's got Michael Jackson right behind him. Yeah. Then you got, is that Paramjit Pummi?
Of course.
Right, you've got Paramjit Pummi, right? Then you've got Muhammad Sadiq, that looks like, and then you've got Kylie Minogue on top. You've got Cliff Richard, yeah? And then I think it looks like Kuldeep Manak, yeah? You've got Kuldeep Manak. Yeah? And then you've got your British Asian podcast. And then last but not least, behind you in the corner, you've got your own band, PDM.
That's my life, right? On a wall.
Right, that tells you, like, brilliant. That tells me you're an 80s kid, listen to a lot of 80s, 90s music. Yeah. You're a Desi head because of Kuldeep Manakji and Chamkila and Muhammad Sadiq. But you also appreciated the Paramjit Pommi, and Rick Astley, Cliff Richard. There you go. And you probably had a crush on Kylie, like we all did.
Yeah.
Kylie.
I think it kind of says that I used to drink quite a lot.
Well, mate. Didn't we all?
Yeah. Look, Harjap, man, it's been fantastic, as I knew it would be. And I'm so glad you came on the 30th show. Because I've got to a certain point and I thought I need to get Harjap back on, man. I haven't spoken to him for a while, see how he's doing, and I wanted to record it. But the 50th one, guest hosted by you. Let's do it.
Definitely. Yes. I'll hold you to that. I'm definitely going to do that. So that's when you're listening.
Yeah, it's not long. 20 shows. It will go quick. I've got a show every week at the moment.
Lay Sat Man open up. We're going to lay him out all bare, all Nunga.
Nunga.
As Nunga as you can be on radio. We're going to have him all Nunga. Everything we need to know. But no, we need to know your journeys now. You're always asking us about ours. About time we found out about yours, because yours is probably the most interesting, the most realist, and the most extreme. You've gone from one end to the opposite.
Definitely.
A lot of us have got there, and like you went there sort of like overnight. A lot of us, for us, we've been on a journey for a long time, but 1 minute Sat Mann's got a pint in his hand, the next minute he's a fitness freak and he's behind a microphone.
I know.
But he's giving out all my positivity. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, mate.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward
yeah.
to it.
It won't be long. I'll be in touch. When it's on show 49 or something, I say, Harjap, let's book it in.
Definitely,
And
definitely.
but look, cheers, man.
You also man.
Bring the juice. Yeah. We might do it in person. Who knows? COVID might be gone by then, but you never know.
Listen, we'll go retro. I'll bring plastic the cup and a Five Alive, the bar of juice, and a pack of Golden Wonder crisps if they still make them.
Yeah, we'll have to get some songs from college days. I'll leave that to you. You got some Hindi songs that are perfect.
You know what we'll do? We'll put a few old songs and we'll link it in as like, what does this song remind you of?
Yeah. All right, let's do it. I'll get about 5 songs. You get 5 songs.
We'll get about 5 songs, so that'll be interesting. And people can hear our choice, and then because you've got certain memories attached with certain songs, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially some Hindi ones. It's usually when girls used to dump me.
Yeah, and then you got.
Yeah, you went yeah.
Jiye to jiye kaise bina ke.
See, I knew it. See, no, you're right. You're right. You're not.
We never really had any happy ones, did we?
No.
We never really got to sing. Jab bhi koi ladki dekhu mera dil deewana bole.
Not us. We was in the corner of the car park, weren't we?
There's always sad songs. There's a reason why we're in the Shutter Gill fans.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great. We'll have to get one of his as well. But look, let's do it, man. It sounds good. It's going to be a good show anyway, and I hope this one people enjoy this one. You know, can watch it on YouTube and obviously on their podcast app as well. And but look, Harjap, again, thank you. It's been a real pleasure, mate. And do you have any lasting message for anyone listening?
Yeah, just keep on listening. Don't be afraid to change. You know, don't be afraid to make changes. Learn to prioritize the things that matter in your life. You know, I heard someone say once, you know, some people are so poor, all they've got is money. Sticks with me in my head. So, you know, don't be afraid, and don't be afraid to open up. Don't be afraid to make positive changes. Do what you need to do for yourself and your family. Put them first. Don't worry about what people think. You know, if you're going to be worried about what people think, you're always going to be in their prisoner. You're going to be a prisoner of them in that cage. Break free from that. No, it doesn't matter what people think. They live in their own life. You're living your own life. So see, apna karo, what makes you happy. Yeah, so apna, make sure you always stay happy and keep others happy. And keep that negativity out of your head. There's no space for it. Don't let it rent a room, rent free in your head. If निकलना बहुत मुश्किल ना है, धक्के मार के कटना बनता.